The police administration is suggesting that 11,000 security personnel have been put together for the elections, and we're told that the armed forces are also from 5,000. We're told that from 3,500 personnel in 2012, we now have 5,000 police officers. And then the army is also adding 6,000 from 5,000 in the previous elections. And this is all to ensure that every polling station is well policed and ensure the safety of voters and officials there. Let's stay a bit, just a few minutes on this one. And the increment in officers and the fact that the police said they have identified about 5,000 hot spots in the country, and they incremented the number of police officers. Perhaps this will ensure we have a peaceful, credible election.
No, security is sine qua non as far as the elections are concerned. And everybody at least expects to see a policeman at their polling station as a way of maintaining law and order. And therefore, if the police and the armed forces and all the other security agencies increase their numbers, it is to the benefit of the electorate, it's to the benefit of the whole system, which means we have more people that will be attending to the election duties. And for me, that's a welcome news. You know, we've moved on from stages where we had a few security personnel or none at even polling stations to where now we have a little more, and that's the best thing that can happen. Add this to the fact that if you have hotspots, it means there are places that you need to always keep an eye on, because hotspots can easily splinter into something that is quite undesirable. And therefore, adding more numbers in terms of the personnel, you'll be able to cover a lot of these hotspots and reduce the tension that usually occurs when there are elections. And therefore, for me, it's a good idea to have more security personnel to police the elections.
For instance, in the last registration exercise, the police is suggesting that out of the 3,000 centers, 23 saw some chaos, and the statistics shows that we are becoming more violent. I mean, what really is responsible for this? I thought we could be maturing more as we hold more and more elections.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what should happen. We should be maturing more. But see, we all do not have the same mindset when it comes to these things. And every year we see different forms of violence emerging, which means the fundamental issue of elections is still not clearly understood by the population. An election is just an election. You go there, cast your ballot, and that's it. You know, but people invoke all kinds of emotional underpinnings in these times. And for me, that is where the problem is. A lot of these emotional things are not necessary, because, I mean, you just go to do one fundamental thing, is to cast a ballot, and that's it. And if at this stage we still have these violent acts attached to just casting elections, then, I mean, casting a vote, then it means there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what our responsibilities and rights are with regards to voting. And that is where I believe education should be spent more on teaching the people that, look, your responsibility is to just go and cast a ballot and nothing else.
The education by who? Political parties?
It should be done by everybody. It should not be left with somebody alone, because at the end of the day, we are all involved. It's a national exercise that we all get ourselves involved. And therefore, political parties should do it. The state agencies that are taxed, NCC, everybody should be involved in educating the public as to why they should cast their votes in peace. It is essential. Because if you don't do it, we always come up with all these violent acts, and, you know, it tends to mar the beauty of just casting a ballot. I mean, look at Britain. They went through a period of what? Election, Brexit. And then Cameron says he's resigning. Within a twinkle of an eye, everything had shaped up. They have a new prime minister. They have a new cabinet. What did we hear? No evidence of anything. Just a seamless flow of how things should be done. Why can't we do the same thing? You know, so we need to educate our people and have them understand that you are just there to cast a vote. And that's it.
And political party executives or leaders are not triggers of this violence. You don't instigate your members to go out there and cause confusion.
I would not blame political parties. They are
your members are those involved in this chaos.
They are party members, but that doesn't mean the leadership of the political party sanctions those things. A lot of these things happen out of 10. The issue is people do not have a basic understanding of why they are supposed to cast their ballot. And you see, I always say there's a period for campaigning. You have a long period to campaign. There's one day where no campaign takes place, and then the next day there is voting. So that should even inform you that everything that had to be done is completed. We have a one day that is free. Nothing happens. No voting, no campaigning, nothing. And then the following day we go and vote. So when you reach that point, you should begin to understand that, look, we've done everything that we could possibly do. Now, this is just the time to go and cast a ballot. And if we attach violence to it, then there is a problem. We need better education of our people for them to have an understanding of what their roles are.
I'm grateful. Nana, we have over 5,000 hotspots. The police is suggesting that even the recent exercise show that out of 3,000 polling registration centers, about 23 recorded chaotic scenes, and that suggests from the police service that we're getting more and more. The concerns are that perhaps political parties do not have a hold on their members, and so these members go out there, engage in this violence in the name of these parties, in the name of defending the top hierarchy of the parties.
Well, normally when people take an issue into their own hands, it's normally because the official institutions have shown a certain lack. Otherwise, if the official institutions are adequate, why would anybody want to do something in their own way?
Is it always the case?
It's always the case.
Sure.
And it cuts across. Look, when there's a vacuum, people will try and fill that vacuum. You agree? And it cuts across the entire public service. You go to passport office, there are these guru people because there's a certain vacuum in the delivery of the service. So people take the issue into their own hands and look for guru people or third parties, if you like. You go to driver's license. Everywhere there has to be a service. People admission to secondary schools. Parents are going to try and influence, see people at the Ministry of Education, see big people like Kwabena Champong, and all of that, because
is it that big?
Sorry?
He's still struggling to go to Parliament. Is it that big?
He's quiet and you are complaining.
Okay, all right.
He knows he's a big man.
Okay.
But so I'm saying that anytime there's a certain gap caused by the official action or inaction, people tend to take the law into their own hands. The police do not seem to have had adequate numbers to provide adequate protection. You have one police person. Sometimes they draft in immigration and they draft in customs people and so on, which shows you that they don't have adequate numbers. Now, having one police officer at a polling station itself, one police officer will not be sufficient in case there is some trouble. So other political parties may feel that we need to also beef up security for our agents there, you see. But if everybody was comfortable with the police presence, then you find out that the incidence of political parties trying to get their own people standing by to assist will not arise. But be that as it may, the IGP has signaled the intention that it's going to engage political parties to find ways of collaborating with them and ensuring and getting their confidence in the security that will be provided. When that is done, you would find that the incidence of political parties trying to get their own people in place would go down. So really, that is the cost. We don't have adequate police numbers, and you have to call on other people, customs, immigration, and so on and so forth.
But do we really need them at these polling stations?
The security?
Yes.
Yes, because our democracy has not developed to the point. I mean, you were talking about flashpoints, and you said the the police.
The police says they've identified over 5,000.
Yes, 5,000 out of about 29,000. So it means even though our democracy is going for, there are areas where if a policeman comes, he sleeps because there's no issue. Everybody comes, votes, and go away peacefully, and they assemble. But there are areas where it's a big issue. People want to jump the queue because it's a big queue. People want to make sure their friends come to the front. There are areas like that, and I know them. I have many in my constituency. I have several places in my constituency where you go and you think there's no voting because everything is calm. And there are areas in my constituency where it's very hot. You understand? And I don't want to name the police stations, but they're all there. We have them. Kwabena Akyerepong will tell you he has areas in his constituency where it's peaceful, and there are areas where there are always flashes. So you need some security. If the security is adequate, and really, the police have done quite well since I started engaging in elections in 1996. I've been quite happy with the performance of the police. The problem has always been the politics of it. I mean, you have the situation where in Akwatia, where the NDC supporters had massed up and said, we don't like the agent sitting there, even though he's an NPP agent. And because of the numbers they had massed up, the police was overwhelmed. So the police said that the best way out, they advised the NPP to change that agent. It was Dan Botry at Akwatia. So you see where the political actors come in and make their work difficult for the police. You had this one in Chiriponi, where a gentleman in the police personnel there took a gun and shot into a crowd of NPP supporters in the full glare of the police, in the full glare of television cameras. I'm sure you have it. You have that footage here. Obviously, that person was not a regular police officer. And as we speak, that person has not been punished. So obviously, he has strong political connections. So this is the political actors who make it difficult for the police. But otherwise, the police themselves try and act professionally. And I have gone through elections in 1996 when the NDC was in office. I've gone through elections in 2000 when the NDC was in office, and the police people from Kaneshie, they acted brilliantly. So we politicians
at the cost of some of the